Hi everyone, it's Kelly here from Spiritual Awakening Signs, and we're doing a video today because someone asked a great question, and the question was, should you be vegan or vegetarian for spiritual awakening? And it's not really a one-size-fits-all answer, so I'm going to give you all the information that you need to make your decision, and we've also got a free course that will help you afterwards with the challenges that you might be facing in your awakening right now. So let's get right into it. So the first question is, should you be vegan or vegetarian? Well, what I can tell you is if you switch to a vegan or a vegetarian lifestyle and eating in that way, you absolutely will raise your vibration, and you'll raise your vibration really quickly. Eating in that way tends to raise your vibration, I've found, within a few days to 2 weeks. So you can really raise your vibration in a big way. You can jump up energetically. However, there are positives and there are negatives. Now, for most people, for the average person who's not going through awakening, it's just a healthy change. It doesn't really adjust that much for them. It may raise their vibration, but it doesn't change that much. If, however, you're going through spiritual awakening, you'll find that because your energies are already adjusted and raised for the awakening process, it can sometimes be a bit too much. So you need to watch out for that. Now, this has happened to me and it's happened to my clients many times. What you need to watch out for is you don't want to be going vegan or vegetarian if you're already going through a really difficult awakening. If your awakening is, and this is the criteria, so listen to this and see if this is you or not. If you're going through awakening and you're really, really sensitive, you're feeling overly emotional, you're struggling with lots of emotional issues, or you've got lots of painful issues coming up from the past, if you're feeling like you can't really stabilise yourself, or you're just really struggling to cope, don't go vegan or vegetarian. And the reason that I say that is because it's going to raise your vibration even further, which is going to accelerate the awakening process to a level that's too much for you. It's already at the peak of what your system can handle, and you can end up taking it much too far, and it's going to make things a lot more difficult. It'll make your symptoms more difficult. Okay, there's no medals for getting there faster. That's just going to make things very challenging. So please don't do that. Wait until you feel more settled and you feel more grounded in your awakening, when you feel that you can handle things, and then you can move into going vegan or vegetarian. Does it change your energy? Does it change your karma? I believe it does. Everyone has their own perspectives. I think it's a healthier way to live, and I think it's a wonderful way to live. However, what I can tell you from my own experience is it's not something that I stay on consistently. I've done it in parts, but I have to adjust sometimes to move with my energies. So I can be plant-based, which was usually what I would lean towards, and I was plant-based for maybe 1.5 years, I think was the longest stretch. And then I started to get a little bit ungrounded and started to notice my awakening became a little bit more challenging. And it's just because every now and again you get this new influx of high vibrational energy, and it just tips the balance a little bit, and there's not enough density in the physical body and in yourself to manage it. It's kind of like adding a higher vibration onto the already high vibration of spiritual awakening. It's just too much. And that's when I tend to either switch to eating more like high fat, high protein foods, so things like peanut butter, things with a really high protein content, even tempeh or tofu, things like that can help. Or of course, sometimes I switch to eating some meat and just incorporating a little bit of that in my diet, and that tends to really level things out. So bear that in mind. It depends where you're at and how you feel about it. I know some people are really into the vegan thing or the vegetarian thing, and that's fine. You just need to go with what's right for you. But just bear in mind that if you're starting to get ungrounded, you either need to use a vegetarian option like tofu or tempeh or something high protein and high fat, healthy fats that's going to ground you, or add some meat into your diet. So that would be your options, and let me know if this is all making sense for you guys. So like I said before, when not to go vegan or veggie would be when you're starting to feel like your awakening is getting a bit out of hand, it's difficult to cope, you're struggling with it. That would be the time. You just don't want to go vegan or vegetarian just yet. Wait till you level out, and then you can move towards that. However, what I can tell you is that if you make that switch, and when you make that switch, and you might need to do what I've done and sometimes be on it and then make a little change and make adjustments and break it up, what you'll find, I can see Helen says potato chips, so grounding. I would agree, and so is chocolate. Interestingly enough, chocolate's very, very grounding. So that is official. You've heard it here first. You can eat chocolate to ground. You've got an excuse. But absolutely, it is something that will change your vibration. And what I've found is within the space of 2 weeks, you can raise your vibration massively by going vegan or vegetarian. And it's just the fact that you're not consuming 3D energies of animals and things like that, because there are energies connected to that, and the more sensitive we get, the more we pick up on the energies of the meat, where it's come from, how it was reared, the effect it's had on the animal, you know, all these different things. We're consuming that. The average person, it's not usually an issue. If you're going through a spiritual awakening, you're going to be really attuned into all those different energies, and it can be a little bit disturbing and unsettling to your system. So just notice how you feel, what you're eating in your diet and how it's affecting you, and make the adjustments as you see fit. Now, the good news is that we have a free 5-day course that can assist you with grounding your energies, because that's the key if your awakening's challenging. And we've got a little bit about eating food within that course as well. It'll help you. You want to ground your energies down. That will make the challenging symptoms and signs much easier. It will reduce the emotional turmoil. It will calm the sensitivity and just make things a lot more easier to manage. And then we'll move into the higher stages of awakening with that foundation in place. But that's the first place you need to start. This is something, this free course is something that we could absolutely sell at some point, but we don't. We keep it free for everyone because it's the first foundation that you need for your spiritual awakening. So have a little look at the link below and go and get your free course and get started on it, and we'll see how you're doing after that. I'm sure that you'll notice big changes and big improvements. You'll see some of the reviews there. We got our rave reviews, so it really does work. It's a totally different grounding method. You won't have tried it before. You don't need crystals, incense. You don't need anything else to be able to do it. It's a totally new method. So try it out. I can see that Michelle says, does coffee affect your awakening? I haven't found that it does. However, what I can say is anything that elevates your heart rate or kind of causes what would you call it, a stress reaction, can unground you. So if you drink coffee and you tend to find that it makes you stressed or it causes any problems, watch out for that, because it might very well be ungrounding your energies just a little bit. And that's when you would either switch to decaf and see how you go. Maybe that's okay for you, maybe that's manageable, or just lay off it for a while. And also, does anyone else have any questions while we're here? Because it's really it's a key topic. So if anybody has any questions, please do ask. I'll be here for just a little minute more. But yeah, being vegan and vegetarian really is a personal choice, but it's something that I have done many times. And like I said, for me and even for my clients, it's something that sometimes you can do for a while, and then it's like, I'm getting a little bit ungrounded. I'm going to need to bring the density by connecting to those 3D energies again, and just kind of bringing the dense energies to the system. It's really important. So it makes a big difference, but it certainly can help you to shift into higher levels. It can absolutely raise your vibration. It can absolutely help your psychic awareness. Everything can lighten up when you do that. Michelle has a great question. She says, what about if you have to be on certain medications? Will that affect you? It can do, but generally what I've found is that if you are going through awakening, nothing's going to stop it. Nothing's really going to affect it. So use the medications that you need to use to get you to where you need to be. Maybe it's 3D healing, maybe it's something that you need to assist you in some way. That's fine to do that. You'll still develop in the way that you're supposed to develop, because you're really just remembering things that are from before, those psychic abilities, the healing abilities, all those different aspects of yourself. So please don't worry if you have to be on medications. You'll still reach the vibration that you need to be on, and it's fine, to do all that with with a healthy diet. Of course, speak to your doctor if you're unsure, but absolutely, medications won't make any difference. You can just move to where you're moving to, and you'll be fine. Sometimes it depends on what they are. They can have a kind of heavier energy to them, but as long as you're focusing on your spirituality and you're focusing on within, you'll move through it. So please don't worry. So I think that's us for today. If anyone else has any other questions, you can leave them below and we'll get back to you on that. I hope that you've enjoyed today's videos. You can click below to be notified whenever we go live. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and give us a little thumbs up. We really appreciate it. And we've got lots more awesome videos to come. I can't wait to share more with you. See you soon.